My Gerard Butler catchphrase button is broken. Hold on, let me fix it.
This is Sparta!
It's working again. Sorry for that gay intro, I felt I had to do it. What was that? Okay, so Gamer, starring Gerard Butler, Ludacris, Michael C. Hall, and what's that kid's name? Something. I'm sorry, his name is Logan Lerman, and this is directed by the Crank guys, Mark Neveldine and Brian Taylor. Now, I liked the first Crank movie. I actually thought it was pretty entertaining and interesting. Didn't care for the second one that came out earlier this year, but I did like that whole over-the-topness thing. But in this movie, it kind of loses its way with that. I started to get excited for this movie, but then when I saw it had like 29% on Rotten Tomatoes, I was kind of going in there with a lackluster feeling. But when I saw it, I was like, hey, you know, it wasn't so bad. I mean, it's probably better than seeing All About Steve, which looks god-awful. But there's something about it. I enjoyed some parts. Some parts were really entertaining, but other parts were just bad. It's really hard to avoid saying that some parts were just terribly written. But then at other points, you know, it was enjoyable, an enjoyable action movie with points that got a little annoying, but eventually fixes itself up to be not a terrible movie. Without being too contradictory, there were points of this movie I liked, and there's points of this movie I hated. I really don't think that's something that's impossible to find in a film. But when I saw this film, I was just, you know, the beginning, started out kind of slow, but I thought this movie very wrapped through the way. And they try to pull an emotional appeal with Gerard Butler, who the directors traded in from Jason Statham, and Gerard Butler I do like more. But in this movie, he has that whole emotional appeal going on while he's trying to live, you know, that he has a reason to live. And I kind of like that premise, but it loses itself here. It doesn't focus on that as much as I thought it could. And I think it really could have nailed something there if it focused mainly on that point, more than just this point of this kind of conspiracy with the gamers and they're real people just dying. Michael C. Hall did a pretty good job here, and then there's Ludacris. Ludacris basically did the same thing that will.i.am did for X-Men Origins. Nothing. His character wasn't all that intriguing, and at times it was pretty bad acting, but it was one of the flaws of this movie. I can't particularly pick out so many flaws as much as I can just say that it lost its way at point. I thought the premise was really interesting, and I thought it could be really good, but it wasn't. You know, it's just an average movie. Well, it wasn't terrible, but I did enjoy the viewing. That is something I can say. That the action, more than a movie that like Transformers, the action actually did intrigue me. When there were points where there was action, it was very interesting, and I was into it, and I was all pumped up at points. And one of the dumbest things I've seen in cinema, and I don't care about these directors being over the top, but when you see this dance scene, I didn't know if it was trying to be a comedy, or if it was trying to be badass like the Slumdog Millionaire one was, and it basically took everything we loved about the Slumdog Millionaire dance scene and just raped it. That's basically what it did. So enough about that. And there was a what's his name? The guy from Psych has like James Brody has kind of a cameo here in some point in the movie, and I thought that was really cool because Psych's one of my favorite shows. In the end, it's not a terrible film. It's just an okay, average movie, and I'm going to give it a 5.5 out of 10. I hope you guys enjoyed my review, and thank you for watching.